Shazam Fury of the Gods. It came out last week before. It's currently sitting at a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I saw it a week or two late. Thought I'd sit back, see what everyone was thinking, and then I thought, you know what? No, I'll see it for myself. So, this is what I thought. In the second outing with the Shazam family, we pick up 2 years after the previous adventure, despite the first one being released in 2021, but you don't need to think about that. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Billy, Freddy and the others are all working together to fight crime in Philadelphia, exactly where they left off in the last film. However, this time around, Billy is about to turn 18, and because of this, he's going to be taken out of the foster system, and the government aid will stop going to his foster parents. So because of that, he's not sure if he'll be kicked out, and he'll be alone all over again. That's like his worst fear. So because of this, he's holding the family very, very tight together, and he doesn't want them to leave. It's all the family or none of them, which becomes sort of the main crux of the film and for the family themselves. Billy relies heavily on Mary to guide the family and is quite insecure and unsure of himself, with the people telling him that multiple times throughout he wasn't the right choice to be Earth's champion, and the wizard just chose poorly in the first film, right? And even the wizard is like, Billy, what have you done? The villains of the film are the Daughters of Atlas, and they've been freed from their imprisonment when Billy broke the wizard's staff in the fight against Savannah and the Seven Deadly Sins in the first film. So this sort of adds on top of Billy's lack of self-confidence, as you know, it turns out he's directly responsible to why his family and the city are in danger this time around. The Daughters of Atlas's goal is to take back their powers that the wizard bestowed onto Billy, wrong person. So they also plan to take revenge on humanity just as a whole. I'm still not quite sure why. I think they just hate humans because they're gods, but yeah. As far as superhero films go, it's not a bad premise. You know, you've got realistic struggles for both the main character and the villains, minus the human annihilation part. So, for a character like Shazam, it was nice to see the more magical side with the appearances from creatures such as minotaurs, harpies, and cyclopses, and a dragon makes a strong appearance. I'm always happy to see a dragon on screen, but there were still cracks in the film, and I do believe it kind of hindered the experience overall, which was a shame. Billy, Freddy and Mary are sort of the only ones in the family that are given anything to do throughout the whole film. Billy is obviously the focus of the film, so there was very little with his character in terms of issues. But it should be noted that although it wasn't really an issue for me, I can see and I know that people have said that the transition from Billy to Zachary Levi's Shazam form was a bit disjointed compared to the first, mainly because Asher Angel is 20 this time around, whereas he was 15 in the first film. And this is very evident with Grace Caroline Curry, who plays Mary. So she was actually old enough to play both the human and the hero version of the same character. So yeah, if there's going to be a third Shazam film, which I think it's unlikely, they'll have to do it much sooner rather than later. Otherwise you'll just have all the same actors, and Zachary Levi will just sort of probably won't even be there, but he's the face, so I don't know what they do. Freddy's quite key to the story because he sort of falls in love with Anthea. Yeah, I think that was it, Anthea. But he doesn't want to do it with the whole family, the whole hero thing. So he sort of goes out on his own, and then he sort of gets sucked into the sort of the villain's plot, which is the main drive for why the family will get involved as well. I mean, not that they wouldn't, but yeah. So Freddy's key to the plot, at least. Mary decided not to go to university, which was basically her main strive in the last film, so that was a bit confusing. But she does state that she's there to sort of help provide for Rosa and Victor, because now that she's not getting the government checks with the foster system, Billy is about to turn 18, like I said before, so he's not going to get it either. And it's just sort of like she just wants to be there to provide for the family. But then later on you just find out that the house has been outright bought, so it does seem a bit weird. So it's like there wasn't really an issue, but there is one, so I don't know. But yeah, like, Billy relies on her, and she gives sort of tough love advice that he does need, and he does take it onto heart. Like, she's not just sort of written off. And I think Grace was definitely a standout in the film. So I'd love to see her again in the future, even if it's just like this own little spin-off thing, or she appears with maybe the Justice League Dark instead of Billy. I don't know, but I think the whole Mary Marvel character, she's really good. The other siblings don't really do much, however. So Eugene's been mapping out the doors in the Rock of Eternity, but he doesn't really do a great job, because when the families actually need to go through a specific door later on, they just sort of go through random ones, partly off screen, partly on screen. So it's kind of a bit irrelevant. Darla doesn't really do anything till the end, when product placement's needed with Skittles, and I'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, so she's the one that helps with the unicorns, but even then you only see them and the family using the unicorns for about 2 to 3 minutes on screen, so it's kind of a bit of a weird plot point. And Pedro loses his powers quite early on in the film compared to the others, so he's therefore sort of sidelined. Another issue I had was there was a couple times where the characters were aided heavily by plot armor. So there's this one scene where Freddy and Anthea lose their powers, and Calypso, who's one of the other daughters of Atlas, she's riding the dragon. Calypso's got the wizard staff in hand. She shouts at the dragon to go kill them, and it just sort of roars this like fear shout thing at them. Freddy just sort of walks to Anthea, and Calypso's like, kill them. Like, you've got a staff, you've got a dragon that breathes fire, but instead you're just making them just stand there. And then Billy comes out of nowhere and it's just like, yeah, I got the staff now. And it's like, just kill them. And not even 5 more minutes later, the dragon's firing fire breath at Billy, and it does damage to his suit and him. So it's like, well, you could have just wiped them out completely, and effectively, yeah, okay, they're kids, and it's a 12A film, you're not going to kill kids. But yeah. Okay, so big spoilers if you, I just said about plot armor stuff, so I don't think you're too fussed, but if you are, I'll put a timestamp down here and you can skip to. But yeah, so Billy dies in this. In the end battle, Dragon kills him, Calypso kills him, Mix of the Two kills him, either way. And you're expecting this big fake out, and it doesn't happen. They go off screen, they bury Billy's body in the God's realm, and they're like, oh no, Billy's gone, that's a shame. And then just out of nowhere, Wonder Woman's tune plays and she's on screen, and she grabs the staff and just sort of Frankenstein's Billy back to life. So it was short, but he definitely died. Which, don't get me wrong, it was cool to see Gal again, especially because, she's probably just never going to play Diana again after this. But it was quite strange, because it kind of means that the staff can do anything now, whereas before it just sort of channeled the electrical power energy of the gods or whatever, but now it can bring someone back to life. And I'm not sure what its limits are, because they outright state, oh, all the gods are dead, so the staff is useless, and Diana's a demigod. It could just be me being a bit nitpicky, but I think it's still valid. It was just a bit strange. And the last thing, Skittles. So Skittles must have paid a ton for their product placement in this film, because the family basically solely eat Skittles for snacks, and the Taste the Rainbow slogan is spoken twice, both by Darla, in the space of sort of 5 minutes, literally one after the other. So yeah, that was a thing. They quote it as Ambrosia, which is the nectar of the gods, tastes like Skittles. It's good to know. The post-credit scenes, these were actually interesting. The first includes Peacemaker's Emilia Harcourt and John Economos. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, I'm probably not, but we'll move. We last saw Emilia in Black Adam, but we saw John in Peacemaker. These two come to recruit Shazam to the Justice Society, which is really cool, and it has come out that originally it was going to be Hawkman and another member of the JSA were meant to appear instead of Waller's aides, but apparently due to The Rock, of all people, he said, no, you can't use these guys in this film. So Xavier Sandberg and Safran did this in the post-credits instead, and it makes sense, but at the same time it doesn't, because does that mean Waller both controls the JSA and Task Force X? I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, the reset's happening, so it probably doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, it was interesting. And the second post-credit scene is effectively a copy and paste of the first film's post-credit scene, where you see Savannah. He's still in his cell with all the magic writings around him. Mr. Mind comes in the vent saying, oh yeah, so you know that plan I mentioned before? Yeah, I'm still working on it. Just got a few kinks to work out, but Shazam Fury is probably going to be me. Which was kind of weird, to be honest. I don't know why they did that. He should have just said, right, we're good to go. And then Savannah's like, okay, break me out. But that didn't happen. So maybe it's a full off-screen thing. But that was cool to see, at least. But I have a feeling it's going to be sort of like the Sinestro credit scene in the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film. So I don't think this will actually go anywhere. Which is a shame. But hey, I'd rather have a connected universe that's going somewhere than a third Shazam film. And lastly, I'm going to talk about Shazam's future. I don't think we're going to get anything more from the Shazam franchise. I think that's just dead in the water, sadly. So I don't think we'll get a third film. However, I would like to see Billy or Mary appear as part of a team, or even just cameo in a magic-based thing in the DCU. I don't think the whole family will survive the reset, mainly because they didn't really know what to do with the family in this film, or really the last. Even though obviously the first one was Billy's origin, so I get why they only focused on him and Freddy. But I think it would definitely be a shame if Gunn just completely ignored the Shazam side of the DC, because it's a really fun, different area, and it leaks into the magic aspect of the realms, so that's really cool. I think DC should have done away with the Black Adam movie and made this film Black Adam's debut, to be honest, because you could just replace the Daughters of Atlas with Black Adam, while keeping the core aspects of the story with Billy trusting himself, needing guidance to understand the magic, because Black Adam could have been like, right, well, here, you know, I'm here, and I'm part of the family, because they also had that post-credit scene where Zachary Levi was going, there's a seat that's empty next to us. Who knows? And that could have been Black Adam. You know, I think a lot of people probably have similar thoughts. But it definitely would have worked quite well. And then, you know, you have Mr. Mind as the big bad, and then Black Adam goes, oh, maybe I should team up the family, defeat you, because you're actually worse than what I thought the kids were. And then he can just fly back to Kahndaq and have Black Adam like, Kahndaq's not great, right, time to do this. And then you could have had a Black Adam film, and then you could have had Shazam be like, hey, Soups, I'm gonna need some help. And then you could have had both of them go to Kahndaq, because Black Adam is a Shazam-based villain. He's not a Superman villain. Like, yeah, it's cool to see them fight, but it's like if you just had the Joker turn up against Wonder Woman or the Flash, you know, it just wouldn't, it'd be cool, but it wouldn't be the same. I think the Shazam franchise, much like the previous universe for DC, it's just a missed opportunity. So here's hoping that Gunn and Safran know what they're doing for the future, and even if they forego the whole Shazam franchise for at least like 5 years, so like chapter 2, I mean, it's Gods and Monsters, so Shazam would make relevance, but I don't know. I think they might just sort of sweep this one under the rug, get people to forget about it a bit, like they've done with Green Lantern, and then in a few years they'll be like, oh yeah, we've got our own Shazam, we'll recast everyone, and yeah, I think that would be good to do. But anyway, that is my Shazam review. I did definitely enjoy it, I do want that to say, though I had a few negatives, more than I thought I'd have, but it's just how it goes. We will see what The Flash is like. I am very hyped for that film. We get 2 Batmen. Let's go. Even if Affleck's literally only in it for about 5 minutes, I'll still take it, because we got the blue bat suit as well, so that'll be good to see that for the first time on screen. And yeah, so I hope you guys all have a good time. Thank you for watching, and see you all in the next video.